Hi everyone and welcome back to Purposive Communication class. So for today's session, this is the last topic for the purposive communication, which is about the multimodal communication. So if you're going to be looking into the multimodal communication, this is basically more of a kind of communication wherein you try to use different modes of multimedia. So with that, we're going to be moving on. So let's define first what you mean by multimodal communication. So multimodal communication, this is a holistic way of looking at communication. Rather than just focusing on one area, wherein you consider the all forms of communication, which includes the body posture, facial expression, gesture, writing, speaking, or using a communication device. So these are the examples of multimodal communication: the spoken language, the texting, tweeting, emailing, handwriting, body languages, gesturing, or by using a communication device. So as what I'm telling you, so when we talk about multimodal communication, basically you're not only focusing on one form of communication, but the totality of being utilized in terms of communication, which includes the total package of the communication itself. So meaning you're not evaluating the communication with just one particular area, but you're evaluating the communication as a whole. So let's now move on. So multimodal communication is a crucial component of social interaction that helps you convey your ideas, thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So therefore, these tend to use gestures, facial expression, speech to make yourselves understood. A frown, a wink, or a nod. These are constantly used to really, have the means to communicate. So in short, into your what's this performances like short storytelling or storytelling, definitely you're not only looking into what is the information that being conveyed, but the totality of the performance of the whole storytelling. Okay, so let's now move on. So we do have different types or different modes of communication. The multimodal communication, so which includes the visual, the things that you see, of course, which includes the person, the props and all. So that is about the visual, and of course oral, something that you can hear, gestures, more of movement, and then spatial, more of the proximity, and then the linguistic is more of the words utilized by the people talking in the context of communication. So let's proceed. So when we talk about visual, this refers to the images and characters that people see. So like signs, um, that means having a visual information, and then something about saying the sign uses using spatial mode, and then some of the objects that can be seen into the context of communication. So the visual dominates signs, even this composition is not purely visual. Okay, let's now move on to oral. Oral is basically more of the sound being heard into the context of communication. So, like the music, the sound effects, the ambient noises, the silence, the tone of voice, and then the spoken language, the volume of sound, the emphasis, and the accent. So, if you're gonna be looking and trying to evaluate something that a movie is being presenting and then being presented, and then at the same time something like a performance of public speaking, therefore. So that's about the multimodal communication for oral. Next one is gestural. So gestural is about the body movement or the way of movement being interpreted, which includes the facial expression, the gestures, the body languages, the interaction, and that as for the face-to-face conversation. So the gestural mode works with linguistic, visual, oral, and sometimes even spatial modes. So what is the purpose or what is the importance of gestural? It gives emphasis on what words are being, reiterated or being said. So that is about gestural. So they try to put emphasis, they try to add meaning to what you are talking about through gestural. Okay, so next one is about linguistic. Linguistic is somewhat about written or spoken words. So this mode includes word choice, delivery of written or spoken text, the organization of words, paragraphs, and more of meaning. So linguistic is not always the most important word. Mode. However, they try to really help in terms of, especially if it's in a written one, in a written document, it plays a vital role in terms of putting correct meaning, appropriateness, and all. So linguistic is probably the most widely used mode, but because it can be both read and heard on both paper or also, but they are the heart or the life of any multimodal communication. Because without linguistic, preferably misinterpretation may come in. Okay. So the linguistic mode is the best way to express the details and the list. So to make it factual. Next one is spatial. Spatial mode is, as the name implies, refers to the arrangement of element in space. It involves the organization of items and the physical closest between people and object. So spatial, you may just look at it as a space, but space is definitely will help you understand the connection of each characters within the context of communication, and not only with that but also in terms of their intimacy, appropriateness, and the connection or interaction. So that would be all for the multimodal communication for the part one. We still have other discussion for the multimodal communication in terms of how are you going to come up with a multimodal communication. Okay, so that would be all, everyone. Bye.